Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and of course, sponsored by the amazing Morgan's Trinkets. I'm Keith Brugman. I'll be your host for this evening, but I'm not alone with three of the four horsemen in the house. I'm going to go ahead and start around the horn. I'm going to start with a guy, it seems like, has a birthday every now and then, maybe just a couple days ago. Start off with the Rocket Man. Happy birthday, Rocket Man, and welcome to the show.
No, I appreciate it, Keith, and I appreciate everybody that got a chance to wish me happy birthday. It was a great birthday, and I'm excited to be back. It seems like I missed one episode of Denver Bronco Roundup. There's just like a whole, big time news that's coming in, and I can't wait to break it down and trying to kind of play catch up a little bit as well from when I missed on Tuesday. So excited to be here for Friday, and let's go Broncos.
Yeah, man. It was me and Dutchie hanging out on a Tuesday celebrating a win because other than our post-game show we do directly after the game, man, it was our really big breakdown of the game. We're almost now kind of moving on to the New York Jets, but yeah, we got some news to catch up on. Always like to catch up with the judge, Mr. Jody Moncrief. Hello, Judge. How we doing this evening, man?
What's up, everyone? Just excited for this game. Big game this week. This win can catapult us in, right into the playoff talk. It's still early, but this is a huge game for us. We need this win.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, man. That is a great point, man. Sitting, now at 1-2, getting that surprise win down in Tampa Bay. Now we're kind of primed to be in a better position than maybe a lot of us thought, including myself. Man, I didn't think that necessarily we were going to be able to pull this off. So how fantastic was that, man? Fantastic. Kind of like the posse. If you guys don't know, that's all of you out there coming in, chiming in, comments, questions, bringing it every single time that we go on air, and we appreciate all the love and support. Really like, holy cow. I'm looking off to the side here. I'm trying to keep it all real here and keep up on things. Mr. Michael Ronquillo saying, good evening, Keith, Trevor, and Jody. Go, Bo, Broncos, orange and blue hearts, mile high salute, and tagged along with 100 stars. Appreciate it so much, Michael. Coming in over on Facebook. Always a great supporter. Hey, if you're willing, capable, able to drop us stars like Michael, we appreciate you so much. But we really, really, really love that you guys are just in here commenting, questioning, being a part of this whole big thing that we call the posse. Appreciate you guys so dang much. So kind of like Roy as well saying, hey there, horsemen and the posse. I'm officially retired at my young age, and official retirement date is Monday. Yeah, Roy, we've been talking a little bit off air. Roy's been talking about this for a while. He saw this coming. He's officially retiring. As he says, they're putting him out to pasture, but dang it, Roy, it's well deserved, and congratulations to you. As Michael says, awesome news as well. Ernie Mays coming in here, great supporter as well, saying, go Broncos country only, goats forever, and he's been talking about us, and I appreciate that. Good friend Jeremy coming in saying, sup fellas, go Broncos. And if you don't know who Pearl is, well, welcome to the show. Pearl is not only one of our fantastic supporters, but a supporter as our sponsor, Morgan Trinkets, and we'll be talking a little bit about them later. But welcome to the show there, Pearl. Appreciate you. And yeah, congratulations again on the retirement there, sir. Are we live? Yeah, we're live, Jody. Jody's asking questions on the side. Didn't see everything popping, but we're popping now, and we appreciate it. I guess a little bit of I'll give you this, Trevor, since it was your birthday. Little rewind. Why don't you give us a little synopsis of what you thought of the Tampa Bay game really quickly, and then we can start moving on to the Jets. I'll give you that those 2 words. I guess Jody, for that matter, too, because I guess he didn't get it either. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, both of you, especially, I guess, now Jody, because you get a little bit of post game with me. But Trevor, quick synopsis on that game, what you saw, the steps that you saw offensively, defensively, and then we'll talk about how that helps us moving forward.
Yeah, I think I know I kind of, when we did our post-game show on Sunday, right after the game, I was really high on Bo Nix, and I'm still high on Bo Nix. I think that he's, trending towards being that franchise guy for this team. I think he took steps in the right direction, certainly on Sunday. Love him getting the ball quickly. I disagree with Sean Payton when he said, well, Bo Nix always has confidence out there on the field. I think this is his best game all year, and he showed a lot of confidence in this game. I think this is his best game as a Denver Bronco to this point, and I think that he showed just the confidence was huge for him in this game. I think he had more confidence in this game than he ever has, I think, in a Denver Bronco uniform. So, excuse me. So I think that I really like what I've seen from him. The running game, they got going a little bit. I still think there can definitely be more there defensively. I mean, again, Jaquan McMillan on Chris Godwin was huge in that game. She really shut him down. A ton of credit to Jaquan McMillan, Pat Surtain as well for taking Mike Evans out of the game. Really, I mean, Baker Mayfield was coming in. He was one of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL. After the game, he ended up leaving as one of the coldest coldest quarterbacks in the NFL. So, it was great. I think all around just a great team effort. Love seeing the win and just this huge confidence builder going back on the road, obviously to another hostile environment there in New York. Playing like that. So, I think very, very it could be a very big win for this football team because it gave them the confidence they possibly need to go forward with their schedule, because their schedule doesn't get much easier after this one.
If I was going to just say one thing in kind of support of Sean Payton, I do think that he's had confidence. I think that he just had a lot more confidence in this game plan than he ever had in any of the other ones. And because of that, he was able to perform a little bit better. But we might disagree. I see the head shake. Jody, your synopsis a little bit on this as well?
This was Denver's best game by far. They came out with a game plan to, open the field up. A 22-yard back shoulder fade to Sutton on the first play. A looper over the top to Josh Reynolds on the third play. Sean Payton was aggressive, took the ball. They won the coin toss, took the ball, and went right down and scored. Bo Nix looked comfortable in the pocket. He didn't have happy feet. He was setting his feet, throwing, stepping into throws. Defense played really well. 7 sacks. Riley Moss, the highest rated cornerback PFF last week. Brandon Jones, interception, fumble pickup. Only 2 downsides for me is Javonte Williams has still not been able to get it going yet. Tyler Beatty, 70 yards, big home run or big run. And the lost Alex Singleton. That's the bummer. Our leading tackler the last couple of years, the green dot. It's going to hurt. But I like the pickups they went and got. I mean, Sean Payton was there. Whoever, Denver as a whole was aggressive. Went and got Kawan Alexander right away and Zach Cunningham. They didn't mess around with the guys on the practice squad. They went and got some veterans that Sean Payton, I think, sees what this defense is, and he doesn't want to mess around with putting someone out there that doesn't know what they're doing.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. But other than that, I think Denver played really well. Let's not forget Will Lutz, 4 field goals. Those were big. You score 26, you should win a lot of games. And if Denver can do that, who knows where this season can go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fantastic looking game all the way around. Adam and Kayla coming in and saying good evening, family. Good evening to you, Adam and Kayla. And hats off to your son out there looking good, playing some football from all the pics I've been seeing. So excited to see what his football career looks like. Ernie Mays. Jeremy's coming in and says it seemed like we had good field position against the Bucks, and yeah, we limited what they could do and put ourselves in really good position a lot of the game. So Ernie Mays is pointing out that we own the Jets in a fantastic way, and Kenny Kirkpatrick of the amazing K&K Sports Show, check them out. They have amazing stuff going on. In fact, I was a little bit of a guest on Let's Talk Broncos just a couple of days ago on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. But Kenny's coming in and saying, evening, fellas, and welcome back to Trevor. And Trevor, I'll jump it over to you on this. The loss of Alex Singleton, man. I think that's going to be huge in my opinion, but I'll get your opinion and let you talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, first, I just want to kind of comment on this, the whole Tampa Bay game before I get to Alex Singleton really quickly. All I'm saying is I think Bo Nix had, the whole confidence thing, speaking to the whole confidence thing. I don't think that he had as much confidence before because his footwork was just kind of everywhere, just like how Jody was saying. I think in this game, when he was throwing the football, there was more sense of confidence there for sure. I think with him than I've seen in the past couple of weeks, and I think that's just him getting more playing time, get more familiar with this offense, and which is a good thing to acknowledge. I'm not saying Bo Nix didn't have, wasn't comfortable at all or wasn't confident at all. I just think that we're starting to see that confidence really grow. But speaking to Alex,
okay, really quick before we go to Alex Singleton, poised or confident? Because I saw someone who was poised out there, not necessarily all of a sudden he wasn't like dropping his head and feeling like he was doing a crappy job. I don't think I've seen that from him. I just feel like he felt more poised, not more confident.
Well, I think he felt more confident because of everything.
We'll agree to disagree.
No, I was just saying because I just because of how things were transpiring, and I agree with you that how more poise and the energy, whatever, because it's easy to kind of get down on yourself when things aren't working. Well, him getting the ball out in this game against Tampa Bay was working, and it was frustrating them so much, Keith, that I seen them jump off sides. They tried to jump the snap so many times because they couldn't get to Bo Nix. That's one thing that I absolutely love about Bo Nix. And it's one of the things he does really well is get rid of the football and does it quickly. He did a good job doing that while still getting, making progress, getting up the field. But to turn over to Alex Singleton again, it's an injury that obviously it hurts for the from the Broncos standpoint and this defense, because again, look how many injuries are starting to stack up. Baron Browning's out now. Drew Sanders, that's a name we haven't spoken of in a while, JL Skinner. So just adds to the name of defensive players that are out for this football team. Singleton's leadership, I think his ability to stop the run and just, he leads his team in tackles. He just does so many good things for this football team. Wore the green dot, it was a big part of this defense and the plays getting into the rest of the guys. So it's huge. It's a huge loss for this team. And, again, credit to him for finishing that game against Tampa because, I don't think there's a lot of guys around the league that have done that a ton of times. And just, again, it just speaks to the volume and the, how much he wants to really be there for his guys and finish a game with the torn ACL. So huge loss with the Broncos, but I do think that there's a little bit of help on the way with a couple guys they added. But I again, huge loss for this defense, and hopefully, and I will say this: it's at a position where inside linebacker was already a weakness for this football team, in my opinion, and we kind of spoke to that I think beforehand, before the start of the season. So it's one of those things that's kind of doubled down a little bit with Singleton being out. Now Cody Barton's going to have to wear the green dot, and he's going to have to be the guy that comes in here and delivers the plays to these guys on the defense side of the ball. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys adapt to a different guy being the leader, being that green dot guy. And Barton doesn't have a ton of familiarity with this defense like Singleton has.
Yeah. I'll talk really quick, and then Jody, I'll get your thoughts on this one as well, because I think this is going to be, I think it's catastrophic. I think it's huge. I think that it's really tough to replace a guy like Alex Singleton. Now, I know that there's been statistics that show that he misses at a high rate on tackles, even though he's one of our leading tacklers as well. But just even from the leadership standpoint, the fact that he's a captain, the fact that he wears that green dot, and quite honestly, I think he's the spark plug on this defense. you look at those, we said, hey, now that some of these guys are gone, the Josie Jewels, Justin Simmons, I'm sorry, are gone on this defense, who's going to be the leader? Who's going to step up? I really felt like that was Alex Singleton in these first few weeks. He's been the guy who has truly been that leader that's rallied those guys, who's got them going, who comes up with big plays when is needed sometimes, especially when guys kind of miss their own assignments, and he's kind of cleaning up. So for me, I think this is huge. I'm not saying it's insurmountable. Someone can't take his place. It's not possible because, hey, guys step up and sometimes extraordinarily in these type of positions. So I'm not ruling out the fact that we don't stay even, maybe even take a step ahead. But my gut feel says that's not going to be the case. This is going to be a big one, and it might take a few weeks before we get back on track at that middle linebacker position, maybe at a time that we really can't afford it with the upcoming opponent that we have. Jody, your thoughts on Alex Singleton now that he's gone, and then we'll start digging into the Jets a little bit more.
It's definitely a big loss, like you said. Leading tackler the last few years, captain, green dot. So yeah, all those right there, that's a big loss. One thing I think that will help, but it's not going to help, but the one thing that they are going to be used to is they play a lot of nickel, and Cody Barton, I mean, if you look at snap counts, he was only probably getting 40% of the snaps anyways. He's going to have to swing over and take that, pick up plays, but Jaquan McMillan was already on the field anyways, so if Cody Barton can kind of step into that role for a few weeks till whoever it is, Quan Alexander or Zach Cunningham, can get up to speed and where they can come in and make some plays. I mean, I think those two signings right there tell you all you need to know about what Peyton thinks about where this season can go and what they think about this defense. I mean, they were aggressive right away and went out and got arguably the two best linebackers on the free agent market. Cunningham was led the NFL in tackles in 2020. Quan Alexander, he was playing really well in Pittsburgh till he got injured last year. He's played with New Orleans and Sean Payton. So Sean Payton knows what he's about. And I like the two signings because it shows how they feel about this defense. They didn't want to just rely on Bailey and Justin Chernod and just we're going completely youth movement. They see what this defense can be after 3 games. Number 3 in yards given up per game. So
I will say, I want to kind of speak to those signings a little bit, Keith, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go right ahead, buddy.
Honestly, out of these two guys, though, the guy that kind of stands out to me as I think more of an Alex Singleton kind of replacement is Zach Cunningham. He played 80% of his snaps last year with Philly. And again, and he had 85 tackles last year, combined tackles last year. To me, that is to me, it just tells me that he's all over the ball. I mean, that's exactly what Alex Singleton was able to do. Plus, Cunningham played 12 games last year. Imagine if you played a full season where those, combined tackles would be. So to me, I think Cunningham, 6'3", 238, Singleton 6'2", 240. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between those two. I think that's the guy that if you, want to replace that Alex Singleton type of player, that's the guy to me that would make the most sense. If, Cody Barton or anybody else, Christian Welch as well, any of those guys or, even Justin Strnad can't be that guy. I think you have that guy that you just brought on. Maybe you just need to give him a little bit of time to get acclimated, with the system.
Yeah, second round pick, or if I remember correctly as well. So I mean, there's a guy that came in with a lot of expectations, a lot of talent into the league as well. Michael's saying that Justin Strnad will probably take over for Alex Singleton, and I could definitely see that being the immediate case, right? You need somebody who understands this defense. Justin Strnad could definitely end up being that guy. Did have the interesting question of, does a Baron Browning, when he come back into middle linebacker, a place that he played in the past? So that'll be another question that we could possibly play around with in the future as IR becomes complete for some of these other players. You mentioned another name in our rookie middle linebacker that we all been, that we've been waiting for. You know what I mean? So, Scott, like he says, he gave his all, full energy, which made the other players do the same, and that's a great way to describe Alex Singleton, man. Full of energy. It's funny. He came over being mainly a special teamer guy over in Philadelphia, and he kind of had that special teamer type of energy when he first came to the Broncos, but he never lost it. He always felt like he was kind of like a special team guy out there playing on defense, always high energy, like he only had to play for one play, but he played every single down. So just a guy that'll be missed, and it'll be interesting to see how we fill that void. Jody, you spoke to it. The Denver Broncos right now, the number 3 overall defense, giving up 259.3 yards and 5 touchdowns so far. That's a great way to start off, as we start looking at this New York Jets team, a 2-1 team that's headed by Aaron Rodgers. And say what you will about Nathaniel Hackett, this last game seemed like they had everything clicking. They looked to go on a little bit of a run after a nice win against the Patriots. How do you think this defense matches up versus Aaron Rodgers and, well, quite honestly, a great running game and a couple of great targets as well?
I think one thing Denver needs to lean on is expose. Morgan Moses is out at right tackle, and I would expose that right away. 7 sacks last week. Jonathan Cooper is turning in. I heard a stat today. Jonathan Cooper. Well, JT Watt is number 1. Jonathan Cooper number 2. Nick Bonito number 3 in pass rushers that get chipped when they come off the line. So people are taking notice of Jonathan Cooper, and they're taking notice of Nick Bonito. Man, I think after 1 week, I think I'll see how this week plays out, but I might have to eat some crow on Baron Browning. I thought he was going to come in and light it up this year. I didn't really see it game 1. Then he's already hurt again. And DeAndre Tillman came in and got 2 sacks. I thought DeAndre Tillman played really well. I mean, Denver is deep at that position. And it'll be interesting to see what they do when Browning comes back, where he fits into the rotation.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you got to start, was with the pass rush, and then do what you've been doing. Your secondary's been lights out. Pat Surtain has taken, 3 elite number 1 wide receivers out of the game the first 3 weeks. Riley Moss was the number 1 rated PFF cornerback last week. He's given up some plays, but they've been dimes and pinpoint perfect passes. I haven't seen Moss just get burnt yet or anything. They've been passes like that to win the Seattle game. I can't think of it, to Tyler Lockett. I mean, that's a perfect pass, and that's he's in tight coverage there. So I like what they're doing there. One thing that worries me a little bit is Conklin. He's been kind of starting to go off at tight end. What does Denver do to combat that? And can they get enough of a pass rush that they can shut this run game down? Force the Jets into passing the ball. You got to force them into passing the ball. I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers looked good last week, but he didn't look all that great against Tennessee, and he didn't look all that great against San Francisco, and he can't move. You can tell that he's 40. The Achilles is still bugging him a little bit. He can't move like he used to, and I think with consistent pressure, that will wear on him.
Interesting. We might have different game plans, but Trevor, I want to get your thoughts on this game plan as well. How you attack this Jets offense that, whether you're talking about Mike Williams or Lazard or Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and I know I'm missing the other receiver, and it's a big one, but you'll fill it in for me. I'm sure.
Garrett Wilson.
Thank you. I'm like, I knew it was right on the tip of my tongue. I appreciate it, Jody. They're a loaded offense. This is probably one of the toughest tests I think that we've seen, especially when it comes to that quarterback position headed by Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about the defensive game plan as we match up against this Jets offense?
Yeah, quickly, because Michael said that about Justin Sternad taking over for Alex Singleton. I'm not so sure that's the case. Sternad has 0 snaps defensively this year. Christian Welch, the guy they signed from Green Bay, he has 30 snaps on the defense of the ball, 16% of the time he's on the field. So I think he's the guy that would fill in behind Cody Barton. I think, at least for this week until they get the rest of the guys
That's fair.
acclimated. So I just wanted to kind of, do some research and kind of get that out there a little bit.
Well, then I'll point out this one of Michael really quick and just say, point out that kicker Will Lutz won Special Teams Player of the Week as well. So congratulations to our own Will Lutz and special teams. Which, hey, 3 phases of the game, man. But let's get into this Broncos defense versus this Jets offense and how you think we line up and how you think we, come away with a win.
Yeah, and first and foremost, Morgan Moses, the starting right tackles out as well. So Olu Prashana is going to be starting for him. That's the rookie first-round pick from this past season.
Yep.
For me, I think it's going to be how to stop the running game. I know Breece Hall hasn't been too successful this year, and I know Aaron Rodgers gets a ton of credit, but Braylon Allen, Breece Hall, I think at some point in time, those two are going to go off. And that's one of those things where I think Denver, for me anyways, they struggle still stopping the run. I know in Tampa Bay, they did a much better job, but Bucky Irving still kind of, there was still a little bit of something there. He still ran the ball towards the end of the game, of course, but he started running the ball a little bit better. So I think that you can take advantage of this Jets offensive line that kind of seemed like a little bit banged up. I would just be aware that I think they're going to try to get that running game going a little bit more and play to more, their strengths and what Denver doesn't do well, which is stop the run. And Sean Payton has said that multiple times this season. But yeah, they have plenty of weapons. Lazard, Conklin, like Jody said, and then Mr. Wilson as well on the outside. Their stud wide receiver. I don't think that Wilson's a guy that's going to be, I'm going to be too worried about in this game though, because I think Surtain has done a good job. Just kind of shutting these big star wide receivers down. I don't know. I know Pickens kind of, had his way a little bit with him, more than we probably thought. But I'm going to worry about more like Alan Lazards of the world, the guys that we're not talking about enough that will probably be matched up with like Riley Moss. Those are the guys I'm more worried about. And then obviously the 2 running backs as well. So, I think that Denver's going to have to be ready for, the Jets, to the running game. I think that they're going to try to get that going and try to open up the path for Rodgers a little bit more, because what Denver does well, and this is what the Jets are going to want to do. They have in my opinion, they have their starting right tackle out. You have the rookie starting in there. What does Denver do best? Get after the quarterback. You want to try to keep Aaron Rodgers up. Jody just spoke to it. Rodgers showed some mobility last week when they played the Patriots, but that's the Patriots. He's not going to do that every week. So, he's going to want to get rid of the football, and they're going to want to keep him upright. That's why I do expect him to kind of lean on that run game a little bit more in this game.
Yeah. One of the things I saw from a Jets perspective, from an Aaron Rodgers perspective is, hey, he's still got a heck of an arm. And he's still getting the ball out really quick. He can diagnose a defense like nobody's business. So we're going to be on it. You leave a crack open, and he'll just go ahead and he'll just whip it out to somebody like nobody's business. He's got the arm to do it. And then all of a sudden, that protection kind of falls away. It's the same thing that I think that we did really well in Tampa Bay. I think there was some very, very quick reads for Bo Nix. And because of that, he got the ball out quickly. Protection wasn't having to hold up and keep him upright in the pocket. That's what Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are trying to do right now. So it's going to be really tough, I think, in order to try to get to Aaron Rodgers, to rattle Aaron Rodgers. And because of that, you're going to have to be one of your best games. A guy like Conklin, it really does bother me. But honestly, for me, I think it's more about Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones has been playing a lot on the tight ends, and he's been doing a pretty dang good job doing it, coming down from the safety position. That's a better matchup than any linebacker that you have. And in this defense, when these defensive tackles and these defensive ends are trying to get upfield, it relies a lot on those linebackers to clean up and take those tackles on those running backs as well, or pick up those running backs in coverage. That's the bigger concern I have. When you start talking about Cody Barton and Welch or Sternad or whoever ends up getting in there for our linebacker position, is who's the cleanup guy, who's the guy that's making the tackles, like you said, Trevor, on this running game that the Jets can kind of push on you. Breece Hall is no joke, and Braylon Allen, the way that he's came on as of lately, he's coming on pretty well as well. I think they're going to lean on that. A couple of statistics that scare the living bejesus out of me. And that's with the Jets. Even though the Jets are the number 18th ranked total offense and we're the number 23 total offense, you'd say, oh, that's not that big of a difference. Well, their 9 touchdowns to our 3 touchdowns does say a little bit of something. Their red zone percentage is 75% in scoring touchdown. They get into the red zone, they're putting up TDs. On top of that, they're the number 1 when it comes to third down conversion, converting 56.8%. That's comparatively to the Broncos at number 28, only converting 25.6 of their third downs. So as of right now, that's my biggest concern. It could be a long, long day if red zone opportunities are turned into touchdowns and third down conversions are made fairly easily against this defense. I think it's going to be one of our biggest tests that we have going up against this Jets offense. And just be ready, Broncos country. If we're not showing up and showing out to the level kind of that we have, even against a formidable offense like this, could be a longer day than we've had in the last few weeks. So, Jody, I see you hit the mic. I'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to you if you have something to say, sir.
I was just going to say those stats you gave, let's just put them in context a little bit. Denver's faced the number 1 and number 2 ranked defenses currently in yards allowed the first 2 weeks. Also, Aaron Rodgers, he's faced the 0-3 Tennessee Titans and 0-3 or 1-2 New England Patriots. The Patriots are not good, and they didn't look good against Aaron Rodgers last Thursday. So put that into context a little bit. They may be finding their stride, but till they do it against someone elite, or what I would say has been elite so far, I need to see it.
Very good. Very good. Speaking of elite, you know what's really elite? That's Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets is our fantastic, wonderful sponsor. And if you're looking for, well, Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices, I'm telling you, Morgan Trinkets is your place. 33 years experience in the business. Once a nationwide company, now they're just in your backyard, northern Colorado, southern Wyoming, doing shows all over the place. But the easiest, the quickest, the best way to find them, right as you're sitting right now, if you want to, hey, I'll allow you. Head on over to Morgan Trinkets on Facebook. You'll start to see some of what they have. Message them Fantastic Pearl and say, hey, do you have anything like this? I bet you she has it. Her inventory is amazing. And if nothing else, you probably can find it. That being said, over there on Facebook, you can transact via PayPal. Any purchase over $50 is shipped absolutely free. If you catch them at one of their shows, well, all major credit cards accepted. And of course, you walk away with your treasures that day. Check out Morgan Trinkets, your headquarters of Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and Estate Gold at wholesale prices today. I'll drop the link. And with that, guys, you know, we talk a little bit about this Jets offense and everything that they can put together. They've been fairly formidable. Yes, I know that their opponents have been fairly easy. I mean, even their win, one of their losses coming against the 49ers, but the 49ers aren't really who they used to be. But yeah, Titans, Patriots, not the biggest opponents out there in the NFL these days. You know, only maybe the Jaguars rank up there with them, or the Carolina Panthers, you know, as well. So yeah, kind of scraping along, but you know, a lot of times when you go up against the number 1 ranked defenses, that might be because you're going up against them as well. This Denver Broncos team needs to continue to put up points like they did in Tampa Bay and not regress back to where, well, honestly, we're talking about how many touchdowns? 3 touchdowns so far for the Denver Broncos offense through 3 games. Need to get things rolling a little bit if you don't want those defenses to look good against you as well. So let's flip the script a little bit. We'll go ahead and we'll head on over to the offensive side of the ball. I know that everyone's excited to talk about that because Bo Nix did look poised, looked okay, confident. I'll give it to you, Trevor. So start talking about this offense, how they match up against this Jets defense, where the concerns are, and how you think the game plan should be in order to get that W.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's got to start up front, of course. You know, I think that's what Denver did so well last week. And you can, you know, say, okay, well, it was Tampa Bay's, you know, some of their injuries they had on their defensive line. it's got to be, you got to go into MetLife wanting and needing to run the football because again, Bo Nix, passing the ball 40 times a game, it's just not sustainable for him to be, successful in this league. You're just going to have to figure out that running game a little bit more. And also, want to see a little bit more of Tyler Bidet. I think that's how we're going to, supposed to pronounce his name correctly. I think so. I think they're going to lean on him a little bit more, give him a little bit more carries. They did when they were in Tampa Bay. I think Javonte Williams, unfortunately, he just hasn't worked out up to this point. But I do think he can be in that Samaje Perine role. You can use him in the passing game a little bit more. So I think that, run the football. And you know what, Keith? You know what I really liked that I think is really, really successful, and Jody too, how balanced this offense was against Tampa Bay. I think there's something to that, and I really hope that, and I do think so. If we can get a good balance of run and pass in this game versus the Jets, I like Denver's chances of winning this game. Now, again, you got to see the production on both the passing game and the running game from this Broncos team. But for me, it starts with getting the running game going a little bit more on the road, and then trying to open up the pass. I'm not overly, worried about, some of their pass rushers, though, to be honest with you. Hassan Reddick has still not, reported there with New York. So that's one that you don't have to worry about him. They're losing, they lost Jermaine Johnson as well. CJ Mosley's doubtful for this game. So none of the pass rushers really, worried me too much. I don't think Bo is going to have to get the ball out too quickly because I think this offensive line is going to be able to handle what the Jets will bring the Broncos' way a little bit. So a good mixture of run and pass. When I want to see Quentin Williams is a guy that you really have to be mindful of as well. That's one of those guys on the defensive line that just he's elite, and you just want to try to double team him a little bit so you can get that running game going just because of how good of a player he is. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sean Payton kind of dials this one up. It's going to be, you got to win the turnover battle. You got to win the turnover battle and try to get that run game going just a little bit more, just so it's not so much pressure on Bo Nix, because the last thing I think we want to see is Bo Nix passing for 40-plus times again in back-to-back road games. So, want to see a good balance, and I really like what I've seen from Sean Payton in Tampa Bay when this offense did that. So I hope that they do go towards more of that approach in this one against the Jets.
Scott's coming in over on YouTube saying run Bidet, run. Also saying, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Jody, before we jump right into the defense, because I saw this, I heard this, want to get your thoughts on it. He said Sean Payton requested from the NFL for us to have back-to-back East Coast games. Got us all set up there at Briarwood and West Virginia in between. What are your thoughts on this East Coast swing that Sean Payton kind of requested these back-to-back games?
I'm fine with it. I like that they stayed out there, that they stayed acclimated to that time zone. Sound like today was a little bit of a fiasco with the rain, and then they couldn't fly out. They had to take a bus ride a couple hours to get to the airport. But they'll be in a day early. They got all day tomorrow to get acclimated. We're acclimated in New York or New Jersey. They were staying in reports are they were staying in, a 5-star. I guess the bill was close to $2 million for the week. Everyone had their own rooms, and, so they took care of them. And I think, Denver's going to be ready. Was it worth not flying back home and back out? Maybe, maybe not. But I think Sean Payton will have something, up his sleeve. I said that week 1 and 2, and we didn't see anything. They changed some things up for Knicks game 3, and I hope that they can do that this game.
Very good. So talk about that, man, as we match up against the Bo Nix, this offense, our weapons, against what the Jets defense has been putting out there. How do you think that you game plan against this team, a team that does have 2 wins, a team that did seem to be rolling, even though it was against the Patriots, and put up 24 points themselves, though they did it against the Titans as well. There's a team that has 9 touchdowns. What are your thoughts? How do you keep in that pace, or hopefully we don't have to keep up that pace, but how do you keep in pace in order to try to get a win offensively as the Denver Broncos, Jody?
For me, it starts with you got to run the football. His name's escaping me. The backup for San Francisco, he ran for close to 150. Tony Pollard for the Titans, he ran for like 90 yards. You can run on this team. C.J. Mosley, it sounds like, is not going to play Sunday. Excuse me. So that's, for me, it starts there. And then can a tight end please do something? I think this is the week. But you could see it last week. Denver played
anywhere in the league, you could say that, Jody. But yeah, we want the Broncos tight end to show up too.
Denver played a lot of 12 personnel last week, and Troutman was in a lot of the times helping block on the line.
Yep.
For all the, if you watch a lot of the Chase, and that's who I follow, a lot of the Chase Daniels breakdown and stuff. Adam Troutman, he's in blocking and he does it well, and he's not afraid to block top edge guys. And Denver was leaving him one-on-one with Tampa's edge guys. So
yeah,
if that's
good
what they're going to do,
thanks for that link, buddy.
Yeah, if that's what they're going to do, then you may not see anything from the tight end. I mean, Greg Dulcich didn't get a lot of snaps last week. But I like that they are going to little Jordan Humphries. I've said that for a while. He's a big body guy. If you're going to play these tight ends that are one-dimensional, I mean, he fits that role. He's big. He's the same size, pretty much the same size as Greg Dulcich. I also like that they tried to get Franklin involved. I mean, he had a couple catches. They tried to get him the ball. I think as the season goes on, more plays will come his way. But you got to do what you did last week. You got to open the field up, and you got to get 8, 9, 10 out of the box, and then that will open up the run game. I think they went hand in hand. And I don't need deep bomb. We don't need, in my opinion, I don't need 50-yard bombs. Those 18 to 20-yard passes, that is plenty. That gets that D to back up. Get them out.
I agree, man. I agree. I've been talking for weeks, man. I know that we want to get this running game going, but I said, it's, the passing game has to be respected. What do? We come right out of the box. We start really kind of chucking it all over the field. It loosens things up. It made run possible. I know that we need to get more in the run game, but when it comes to this offense, there's going to be opportunities. We talk about our rushing defense, and how we'd like to be better against the run. Well, we're number 22 in the league, but guess who's number 23? It's the Jets. We give up 126 yards per game. They give up 129.3. So there's definitely opportunity right there up front to get this running game going. If we've been looking for it, here is our chance. It doesn't get much better than the 23rd team in the league as far as the team that you go up against is in run defense. I said it last week. If Javonte gets another chance, though, and he goes out there and we don't see much from Javonte, it is truly time to move on. As much as I love him and I'd love to see him succeed, and I'd love for him to be that story. We were all calling for him to be comeback player of the year last year, but it wasn't that great of a year. You know what I mean? It was great to see him come back, but he's not producing like we need him to. Like I said, against a defense like this, there's opportunities in my opinion. So,
how short of a leash do you think he's on this week? Is it pretty short?
I'd say a halftime leash. I think I give him a halftime leash on this. You know what I mean? If he's not producing by halftime, I think it also depends on kind of where the game's at. I mean, if you're kind of in the game and it's halftime, that's where I would say the leash would be on Javonte. If you're getting blown out and it's because Javonte fumbled twice, well, then that's a completely different scenario, But yeah, I give him a halftime leash on this and start just getting touches to other guys. It doesn't mean he can't be involved. I think we talked about a little bit post game, little bit of Pirine type of role, third down back, blocking, receiving out of the backfield. I think that makes a lot of sense for him as well. So, like I said, the rushing defense for them is not that great. Now, passing defense, guess what, guys? It might be an uphill battle. We're number 2 in the league with 133 yards. But right behind us at number 4 is the Jets, only giving up 150.7, only giving up 1 passing touchdown so far. So I don't think it's going to be an easy day necessarily just to open up the field for Bo Nix, a rookie quarterback. I think it's going to have to rely a lot on this running game, and it's going to have to rely on, yards after the catch, maybe some short passing game, as much as we'd like to open it up a little bit deeper, just in order to try to get some of this, progression and continue to manufacture down the field and get at least yourself into field goal position, because I think this could be a very tight game. Trevor, I seen you nodding your head a lot. I maybe even saw you wanting to jump in on a point or two, so I'll let you jump in. I'm gonna hit the comments real quick to see if we have anything great out here.
No, I think you guys.
Great.
Yeah, no, I think you guys kind of, and I think everybody knows pretty much where I'm at with Javonte Williams. I've been out on Javonte Williams. I mean, after the Seattle game, I think I've seen enough with him. Just not seeing the holes. I just think when they're there, you have to take advantage of it. And to me, he just wasn't. I was seeing that on film. How long do you continue to give Javonte that leash? And I think that we're starting to see this coaching staff and this team realize that maybe this isn't the role for Javonte. I mean, Tyler Beatty is getting Tyler Bedet is getting most of the carries now. So I think that you have to ride with the hot hand now, I think, with Tyler Bedet. And I think it's time for it to give him the carries and see what you can do, because you owe it to this offense, but you also owe it to your rookie quarterback. You don't want to put Javonte Williams out there and, put your rookie quarterback immediately in a difficult situation. And I think that the Broncos, that to know that they were sniffing around the Josh Jacobs of the world this past offseason, I think that's kind of should tell you how they felt about their running back room, because Josh Jacobs got paid pretty handsomely. So, and he would have been their 3-down back for sure. So, I'm out on Javonte Williams. That doesn't mean that I, don't think they should use Javonte Williams. I think that they absolutely should. I just don't think that right now it's fair to put him in that running game and to give him the ball, give him the rock when you're trying to run the football. But I think in the passing game, he absolutely can be used, and he's a very good pass blocker still. So, and that can help out your rookie quarterback as well.
Dan's excited for Mr. Audric Estime to come back. He says Thunder and Lightning needs to be running back Audric Estime,
the fumbles,
and running back Tyler Bedet. He had one fumble for us. He had a little bit of a fumble issue in college that he completely got over and did a fantastic job for that Notre Dame team. I'm not going to give you fumble issues. And hey,
well, he does.
Training camp is training camp. Training camp doesn't necessarily prove out everything to me. So,
I mean, he's had 4 weeks. He's going to have 4 weeks on IR. I think that's been the big thing. Fix your fumbles, and no one's taking this running back job, and running away with it. So, and I think it speaks volumes. The first 2 scoring drives, we're down on the goal line, and we really didn't try to hand it off to Javonte. I mean, we tossing it wide. Bo Nix is running. That's where Javonte should just be running right up the middle, and should be.
I think we put 2 right up the middle, didn't we? With Javonte right up the middle, trying to get it in. I think we went 2 in a row with him, if I remember.
But I mean, both 4th downs. I mean, you would think that if you have confidence in him to get 1 yard, they both were kind of trick plays almost. If you want to, or
I think Bo Nix played a trick on one of those plays. I don't know if that sneak of his was necessarily supposed to be. I think that was a great audible by him. If you look at Burton behind him, I think Burton was expecting to get that ball, and Bo Nix went, no, I can just go to the left here and get 4 yards. So
I just think it should be a lot. This should just be pretty cut and dry. When you're down there like that, you should be able to hand it off to him, and he should be able to easily get you 1 yard.
But I will say, though, Sean Payton, and this is not just me being harsh on, Estime. Sean Payton, what he does not like, what offense coaches don't like, is fumbling the football. He does have an issue from the football. So if he works on that, that's great. I'm all for giving him the reps. But when you put the ball on the ground, I think Sean Payton, he doesn't take too lightly to that. We've seen that with Javonte Williams this past week. On top of everything else, when he fumbled the ball, it seemed like that's when he really went away from Javonte.
Well, I don't think he got any carries after that, did he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And he was not in at the very last. He was not your closer. I mean, your guy you called up from the practice squad was that. I mean, that's telling as well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how fumbles doesn't necessarily get you back on the field a lot of times. So the one thing I would say, going back and watching that all 22 film, it will be tough to make up for Javonte's blocking. You talked about, Troutman and what he was able to do in this last game, Jody. Javonte showed up left, right, and otherwise, blitzing linebackers, and he just, ate them up in the holes and gave Bo Nix opportunities. So whoever does step up, and if he does get more time in comparison to what Javonte was getting, will have to take over that responsibility of being a fantastic pass blocker like he was versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It is one thing the Jets don't do a lot is blitz. I mean, they trust their back end, and they don't do a lot of blitzing. So if this is
that being said,
if this is a game you don't want Javonte in there to pick up, for pass blocking, this might be the game, really.
Will McDonald, second in the league in sacks for the New York Jets, coming in with 5 sacks right now, only behind Aiden Hutchinson. So 5 sacks through 3 games, nothing to be, turning your nose sideways to. Michael Ronquillo, he's still excited about Bo Nix. He says quarterback Bo Nix can reach 1,000 passing yards in the next 2 NFL games with 600 total passing yards through the first 3 NFL games against the Seahawks, Steelers, and Buccaneers, kind of pointing out some of those tougher defenses that maybe he went up against. And then, of course, Lion Coffee's own Patrick Wiltsey coming in here and saying, aloha, Horseman, Broncos 24, Jets 20. I would like to see Rodgers on his donkey, which I would like to see him on his donkey as well. Pearl's right in agreement with you, Trevor, when it comes to some of this running back talk and where we're at and where we need to go. So you're not alone. That being said, I kind of flashed it up there quickly, but hey, it's almost about that time, guys. We got only about 8 minutes left. Patrick Wiltsey was our last one to give a prediction. He's given the Broncos a 24-20 prediction. I know he hasn't been the only one. I want to get all of the posse involved in this one. This is one everyone can get involved in. The old, prediction score here. We're going to get ours in. Adam and Kayla came in a little bit earlier. Really excited what the Broncos could maybe do offensively because they have a score of 34 to 17 and a Broncos win over the Jets. I was making sure I didn't. For a second, I thought you said 34 to 17 Broncos over the Broncos, but I see what you're doing there, Adam and Kayla. And I know I had one other one, so I thought, or at least I thought I did. So if nothing else, please make sure you get your predictions in, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, give me a little bit of synopsis, how you think this game plays out, and then give me a final score prediction. Jody, I'll start over with you, man. How do you think this game plays out? How do you think it looks as, these two teams take the field early, 11 o'clock game in New York? And how do you think it plays out for a final score, sir?
I think we see a lot more of what we did in the Tampa game. I think if Denver can get their run game going early, I think that's when the passes will back off a little bit until Sean Payton, I just think, goes away from it too soon. It's not there and goes away from it. If he can get going right away, I think he will stick to it. I think Bo Nix does get his first passing touchdown this week. And I have a score somewhere like 24-16 Denver.
24-16 Denver. 24-16. That's Mr. Jody. I've been writing these down every week, guys. Trevor, like I said, we've been talking about the uphill battles, where there's opportunities, where this Jets defense is good, where it's bad, where the offense has opportunities. Break it all down. How do you think this game kind of looks? How does it feel? And what does the final score kind of look like?
Yeah, so it's going to be a close one in my opinion. Again, I don't think anybody's walking away with this win by any means, but I think it's going to come down to 2 things. It's going to be VJ's defense and Bo Nix. How do you take care of the football and on the road, and how does VJ's defense kind of stack up against, arguably one of the more talented offenses you've played up to this point this season? So I have 24-21 Broncos win on the road, huge win on the road in New York. I'm not going to doubt them, going to New York again. Yes, be critical on some things, but I'm going to give them the win because I think this is a very winnable game. And I'm not bought into the whole, the Jets are going to the playoffs type thing yet. I'm not there yet, quite yet with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just missed, 2 years, and his last year in Green Bay wasn't overly great. So I think I still need to see more from the Jets before I'm pushing them into the playoffs. I think the Broncos can still keep this thing close, and I think give themselves a chance. And particularly, I think the defense can and try to get after Rodgers early.
Very good, man. Very good. Like I said, I think this is a Jets team that's going to be tough to rattle offensively. It's a team that gets rid of the ball quickly out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. They know how mobile he's not, and he's not as mobile as he once was. And then you take a look at this Denver Broncos defense, and we've been looking for them to step up against the run. I think that this is a fairly formidable opponent now with Breece Hall, especially. I like Breece Hall, but Braylon Allen as well has shot off a couple times as well. The Denver Broncos offense did show something, and I think this more than anything, I thought this coaching staff showed something when they went into Tampa Bay. To have a repeat performance against a Jets defense that does seem to be doing pretty dang well, even if they're doing it against bad teams and bad opponents. I think it's going to be a little bit too much. And I'll tell you what, me and Michael Ronquillo, we're right on the same track. So I'll go ahead and I'll put his score up, one of the first ones that came in. I'm going to go Jets 24, Broncos 20, the reverse of what Trevor put out there for his prediction, giving the Broncos the 24 points. I'm going to give the Broncos the 20 points in a close game, but just a loss. I think similarly to what I said in a lot of these games, I think this is one where you kind of feel good about where your team's at. It might be one of those. I think it's going to be that game where Bo Nix does get his scoring touchdown, like you said, passing touchdown, Jody. And there are a lot of things you can point towards that you feel good about, even if it happens to be a loss. I think that's going to happen a few times in this season for the Broncos. So Ernie Mays, he has the Broncos 31, the Jets 7 in just a absolute shutout versus this versus this Jets offensive team. So Pearl's coming in. Her prediction, it's going to be pretty close, but she's praying for the Broncos 21-20. Either way, either Jets or Broncos. I know that Pearl was a long time Jets fan, but she's now a Broncos fan as well. But she has a little bit of love still in there for the Jets. Scott, I'll get his prediction on there first. He's saying Broncos 23, Jets 17. So also another loss for the Jets. I'm sorry. So another win for the Broncos, similar to what you guys were kind of predicting. And Dan's coming in saying Denver 20, New York Jets 30. I pray that I'm wrong. Aaron Rodgers is starting to warm up, and that's quite scares me when Aaron Rodgers heats up, he gets on fire, and he can become an MVP. It's certainly happened before. Douglas Wall coming in here a little bit later. First time that I've seen Douglas's name on here. Maybe you've been watching, but he comes in with that score prediction. It's a big one. Broncos 33, Jets 27, Broncos to win. Man, I'd love to see that. And kind of like Dan, I'd love to be wrong as well in my loss prediction. I think like I said, I think it's one. I think I said this one time before. I think it's one of these games where it could be either way. You could flip these scores. I'd love to see the Broncos put up 33 points, or like Ernie May says, the Broncos 31 and the Jets 7. Gentlemen, we're almost right at an hour, man. So it's a fantastic time to maybe get some closing thoughts in. And then, close us out, get out of here. Before you know it, it's going to be a Sunday post-game show. Jody, why don't you hit us first, man? Get us out of here. What do you got to say, buddy?
In my opinion, this is a huge game for Denver. There's only, 6 or 7 teams with winning records in the AFC currently. A lot of teams, 1-2 or 2-1, and you're playing one of them. You can put yourself right in the mix and pretty much erase this 0-2 start and start to get on a roll. That's what I expect to see, and I hope that staying out on the East Coast really pays off. And if Denver can pull this win out, I think teams will start taking notice of this is not just your 31st ranked roster in the NFL. I mean, whoever said that was, or who, all the guys that said that are quickly backing off of that.
A little bit of crow eating there. It would be nice. I think that you're absolutely right, Jody. You pull out a win here, and I think there are a lot of people who start to question, start to think, start to reevaluate what their judgments of this Denver Broncos team was. Trevor, some closing thoughts, and then as we kind of get, moving on down the trail, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, for sure. No, Jody, by the way, that was PFF who had the Broncos as the 31st ranked roster in the league. And it still blows my mind that they have Zach Allen as poorly great as they do, but that is what it is. But no, I want to just appreciate everybody that joined us tonight on the show. All the great questions and comments. Again, I just want to acknowledge our posse, and again, thank you for everybody for just taking time out of your day for wishing me happy birthday. I really appreciate that a lot, and means a ton. So thank you to everybody. And like I said, I think that this game's going to be close. I think with the Broncos, the thing with the Jets that worries me, guys, is honestly their schedule. I mean, they haven't really played a ton of tough teams up to this point. I mean, you got San Francisco early on in the season. Well, they got a ton of injuries right now as well. They're pretty banged up. Again, you have Tennessee, but that was a close game, 24-17. So I think Denver's got more of a chance, and I think what more people are kind of giving them credit for. Maybe more the national media is giving them credit for. So I think this game will be close. If Denver stops Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, I like their chances a lot more. I think that's going to be key in this game. Make Rodgers beat you, get after the quarterback, and let's see, is he the Aaron Rodgers that he used to be way back when he was with Green Bay? I'm willing to test that out a little bit more. So, I think it's going to be a closer game on the road, and hopefully, again, it would be huge to see Denver get a big win on the road, 2 big wins on the road. So, I'm just very excited to see the game, and want this team to take steps in the right direction. I think they are, and hopefully. After Sunday, we're still saying that, but I hope everybody has a great weekend, and thank you for tuning in. And can't wait to watch the Broncos game. As always, go Broncos.
I can tell you, I was looking at that coverage map of the Denver Broncos game versus the New York Jets, taking up a pretty big swath these days. When you live in Montana, you have to worry about things like that. Where's the coverage? How am I going to get the game? Please. So yeah, great week for Denver Broncos football because everyone's excited about it. A win will do that. And I think a lot of people are excited about this Denver Broncos team. I am too. I have this gut feeling, Broncos country, that, and am I superstitious? Yeah. Kind of let me see if I got that lucky rabbit's foot around here. No, a little bit superstitious. I felt like if I picked this team to win, that was almost a guaranteed loss. So I really hope that I'm wrong. Even though I picked the Jets to win 24-20, like I said, I think this team is putting it together. If they can, again, kind of repeat what they did as far as a game plan and the type of preparations that they put in for Tampa Bay, they had Baker looking like a rookie quarterback out there, and you had Bo Nix looking like a pro out there, poised and confident, throwing the ball all over the place. If we can get a repeat performance like that, I almost guarantee my prediction is wrong. Jeremy's coming in as well, though. He's got the Jets 24, the Broncos 17. And saying thanks, guys, and thank you everybody, guys, gals, all the posse. Pearl saying she feels the same way as me if I do that prediction on the right side. I know how it feels. Got to be a little superstitious, but not superstitious about the posse. That you guys were absolutely amazing. Came in here. Some names maybe I haven't recognized in a while, or maybe are new or haven't been here in a while. That was always great to see. All the regulars, we appreciate you as well. Man, I'll tell you what, this network keeps growing, keeps getting bigger, and it's all because of you guys. Please please share, please subscribe, and if you can, like I said, get it in the hands of another Denver Broncos fan. We'd love to go ahead and grow this community. Love to have that interaction. It's all about you guys, and I try to get as many comments on there, whether you're dropping stars like Michael Ronquillo did right off the bat, or whether you're just a great part of the posse, part of this group. So, again, check out Morgan Trinkets. That's a great way to, support our sponsor and support this show as well. And as always, I almost forgot. Don't forget, we go live every Tuesday, every Friday, and you won't want to miss that post-game show right after the game, man. Get that immediate reaction to hopefully another Denver Broncos win as we go to 2-2. So that being said, we're going to get out of here. Have a fantastic night. As we always do, make sure you keep your feet in the stirrups, guns in your holsters, and the Denver Broncos in your heart. We're going to get out of here. Have a great one. Good night.